The tournament had barely begun when the promises started meeting reality. Before the opening week, officials described the competition as a celebration unlike any football event in history. More teams, more matches, larger crowds, and millions of fans watching across the globe. The dream was simple, unforgettable football with unforgettable memories. But sometimes the most unforgettable memories are not the ones anyone expected. One of the biggest stories arrived in Vancouver, where Canada faced Qatar in a match that would become far more than a simple group stage contest. The final score would eventually read 6-0, but those numbers alone could never explain the emotions that unfolded throughout the evening. For Canada, this match represented decades of waiting. Their men's national team had spent years trying to establish itself on football's biggest stage. Earlier generations experienced disappointment after disappointment, while supporters patiently hoped that one day their country would finally become a serious force in world football. Hosting the tournament gave Canada another opportunity to create history. Thousands of supporters packed the stadium, believing they were about to witness something special. From the opening whistle, the home side played with confidence, energy, and purpose. Their reward arrived early when a well-worked attacking move ended with Canada's first goal. The crowd erupted, sensing that something extraordinary was beginning. Qatar tried to respond, but Canada's pressure continued to grow. Before long, a second goal doubled the advantage, sending the home supporters into another wave of celebration. Everything seemed to be going perfectly for Canada. Yet football has a habit of changing direction without warning. Before halftime, a major disciplinary incident reduced Qatar to 10 players, completely altering the balance of the contest. Nobody inside the stadium knew that even bigger drama was still waiting to unfold after the break. The second half began with Qatar determined to fight despite being a player down. They knew another defeat would place their World Cup hopes in serious danger, so every challenge carried extra intensity. For a few minutes, the visitors looked ready to respond, but then the match took a heartbreaking turn that nobody inside the stadium expected. A Canadian midfielder collected the ball in the center of the pitch and moved forward confidently. As he released his pass, a late challenge arrived from behind. The collision immediately looked serious. Players from both teams stopped moving, and the medical staff rushed onto the field without hesitation. The atmosphere changed from excitement to complete silence within seconds. Teammates gathered around the injured player while fans watched with concern. The referee initially showed a yellow card, but after a VAR review, the decision was upgraded to a straight red card. Qatar were now reduced to 9 players, while Canada faced the painful reality of losing one of their most important midfielders. As the injured player was carried off on a stretcher, he raised his hand toward the crowd with a brave thumbs up. Thousands of supporters stood and applauded, hoping to encourage him during one of the hardest moments of his career. It was a reminder that football is about much more than goals and trophies. One touching moment stood out above everything else. Instead of celebrating the sending off, a Canadian player walked over to the opponent responsible for the challenge and offered words of comfort. The Qatari midfielder looked devastated by what had happened, proving that not every painful tackle comes from bad intentions. It was a rare display of sportsmanship that earned respect from everyone watching. With emotions still running high, Canada refused to lose focus. Their substitute entered the match, carrying the responsibility of replacing an injured teammate, and he answered in the best possible way. From a dangerous free kick, his effort took a slight deflection before finding the back of the net, making it 4-0. The celebration was unforgettable. Instead of celebrating alone, he lifted the injured teammate's jersey toward the crowd. Instantly, thousands of supporters rose to their feet, applauding both the goal and the player who had already been taken to hospital. It was a powerful reminder that football teams win and suffer together. Canada continued attacking with confidence. Their quick passing created more openings, and another dangerous move forced a Qatar defender into an unfortunate own goal. The score reached 5-0, leaving the home crowd in complete celebration. Even with the result almost decided, Canada kept showing discipline instead of arrogance. Every player continued working hard, pressing the ball, and supporting each other. Qatar, despite being reduced to 9 men, never stopped trying to compete, showing determination in an incredibly difficult situation. As the final minutes approached, everyone inside the stadium realized they were witnessing one of the greatest performances in Canadian football history. The goals were memorable, but the unity shown by the players throughout the emotional evening made the performance even more meaningful. Deep into stoppage time, Canada produced one final unforgettable moment. Their star striker completed a magnificent hat trick, becoming the first Canadian men's player to score 3 goals in a single World Cup match. The stadium erupted once again as teammates surrounded him in celebration. The final whistle confirmed a historic 6-0 victory, Canada's biggest win on football's greatest stage. Players embraced each other, knowing they had achieved something their country would remember for generations. Yet the celebrations remained respectful because everyone understood that one teammate was spending the night in hospital instead of the dressing room. After the match, emotions spilled over near the touchline. Players exchanged heated words, and both coaching staffs became involved before officials stepped in to calm the situation. Although tensions rose, respect eventually returned as players reflected on everything that had happened during the dramatic contest. The visiting coach later confirmed that the player responsible for the dangerous tackle personally apologized to the injured footballer's teammates. That gesture did not erase the painful incident, but it showed accountability and respect during a difficult moment. For Qatar, the defeat left their tournament hopes hanging by a thread. For Canada, qualification suddenly looked within reach. However, everyone knew the next challenge would be facing stronger opponents without one of their most influential midfielders. When people remember this World Cup, they may first think about Canada's 6 goals or the historic hat trick. Those achievements deserve celebration because they marked a new chapter in the country's football journey. But this match represented something even greater than statistics. It showed how quickly football can move from celebration to heartbreak and back again. One moment supporters were cheering beautiful goals, and the next they were standing in complete silence as an injured player left the field on a stretcher. Both emotions became part of the same unforgettable night. Canada proved they have the talent to compete with strong international teams. Their attacking quality, teamwork, and confidence suggested they could dream of a deep tournament run. Yet they also learned that success often comes with unexpected challenges. The injured midfielder's wave to the supporters became one of the night's most powerful images. It reminded everyone that courage is sometimes shown not by scoring goals, but by facing adversity with strength and hope. As Canada prepared for the next stage of the tournament, fans celebrated the historic victory while also wishing their teammate a full recovery. The scoreboard recorded a famous 6-0 win, but the true story of the evening was about resilience, unity, sportsmanship, and the human side of football. Long after the final whistle, those memories would remain just as important as the result itself.